Hello everyone, we are Group 3, and today we will show you the impact of social media usage on students' academic performance. We have 7 members. They are 曹佳慧、赵媛媛、李月阁、黄锦如、徐可欣、杨金文 and me 孔祥月. The impact of social media addiction on college students' mental health. The mediating role of social support and resilience, the moderating role of gender. This study investigates the complex mechanisms through which social media usage affects college students' academic performance and mental health. Against the backdrop of the high prevalence and potential addictive nature of social media, existing research often lacks a comprehensive exploration of underlying mediating and moderating pathways. To address this gap, this research contracts and examines an integrated theoretical model. The goal of this study is to develop a comprehensive model that includes both mediating and moderating variables. This will help us better and more deeply understand the complex way in which social media affect college students' academic performance and mental health.
Hello everyone, today I will introduce the research background and the problem statement. Social media has been deeply integrated into college students' daily lives, serving as an important platform for their study, social interaction, and entertainment. The usage rate of social media among young people exceeds 19%, but 20.9% of them have a tendency of social media addiction. Excessive use of social media not only distracts college students and leads to procrastination, which directly results in poor academic performance, but also triggers anxiety, depression, and other psychological problems due to excessive comparison online, weakening their real-world social skills. At present, there are still obvious gaps in relevant research. The mechanism of social media's negative impacts has not been fully interpreted, and the roles of mediating and moderating variables need to be explored through more empirical studies. Existing studies have 3 main limitations. First, most focus on direct collaboration and link exploration of mediating mechanism, making it difficult to explain the internal logic of the impact. Second, the moderating role of individual difference, such as self-discipline and gender, has not been studied systematically, leading to the lack of pertinence and universality of relevant intervention strategies. Third, there is a lack of comprehensive models integrating multiple variables, which cannot fully reveal the impact pathway of social media. Based on this, the core goal of this research is to construct a comprehensive research model to explore how social media use and addictive behaviors affect college students' academic performance and mental health through mediating variables such as study habits, social support, and psychological resilience. At the same time, it will verify the roles of moderating variables such as self-discipline and gender in this process, so as to provide a theoretical basis for formulating effective intervention strategies for social media use. That's all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zhao Yuanyuan. Today, I will introduce my research about social media and students' academic performance. First, let's look at my research objectives. The study has 5 main goals. 1. To find out how social media use affects students' academic performance. 2. To test if social support works as a mediator in this relationship. 3. To test if resilience works as a mediator too. 4. To analyze the chain mediation, social support first, then resilience. 5. To explore if gender has a moderating effect on these relationships. Based on these objectives, I have 5 key research questions. 1. Does social media usage influence students' academic performance? 2. Does social support act as a mediator between social media and academic performance? 3. Does resilience also act as a mediator in this link? 4. Is there a chain mediation effect? Social support, resilience? 5. Does gender moderate the relations in our model? I put forward 7 hypotheses for this study. 1. Social media usage is significantly related to students' academic performance. 2. Social support mediates the relationship between social media usage and academic performance. 3. Resilience mediates this relationship too. 4. Social support and resilience play a chain mediating role between social media usage and academic performance. 5. Gender moderates the link between social media usage and academic performance. 6. Gender moderates the link between social support and academic performance. 7. Gender moderates the link between resilience and academic performance. Now let's talk about the scope of my study. The target population is college students. I focus on the impact of social media usage on their academic performance. I consider 2 psychological mediators: social support, an external resource from others; resilience, an internal psychological resource of students. Gender is tested as a moderating variable in the model. The overall goal is to understand the mechanics through which social media affect students' outcomes. Finally, let's see the significance of this research. Theoretical significance. 1. It enriches existing research on social media usage and student outcomes. 2. It integrates social support theory and resilience theory into one framework. 3. It provides a chain mediation model to explain the psychological mechanisms. Practical significance. 1. It helps universities understand the psychological impact of social media on students. 2. It gives insights for developing support systems and resilience building programs. 3. It offers guidelines for educators and policymakers to promote healthier social media use among students. That's all for my introduction. Thank you.
Conducting literature review. This section is developed from 3 aspects: literature review, hypothesis development, and core theoretical sorting. It systematically summarizes relevant research findings on social media addiction, social support, resilience, gender, and college students' mental health, laying a theoretical and empirical foundation for the construction of research hypotheses and conceptual framework. First part, literature review. First, social media addiction and mental health. Studies have shown that social media addiction is significantly positively related with mental health problems such as anxiety, depression, and loneliness. Addictive behaviors reduce real-life social interaction and impair emotional regulation, thereby exacerbating psychological distress. 2. Mediating role of social support. According to the stress buffering hypothesis, social support can elevate the negative impact of stress on mental health. Social media addiction indirectly aggravates depressive symptoms by weakening social support. 3. Mediating role of psychological resilience. Psychological resilience is an important resource for individuals to cope with stress and restore psychological balance. Studies have found that psychological resilience plays a mediating role between social media addiction and mental health. 4. Mediating role of social support and psychological resilience. According to the conservation of resources theory, the loss of external resources weakens internal resources. Social support indirectly improves mental health by enhancing psychological resilience. 5. Moderating role of gender. Gender plays a moderating role in the relationships among social media addiction, social support, psychological resilience, and mental health. Women benefit more from social support, while men may rely more on psychological resilience. Part 2. Hypothesis development. 1. Existing studies have confirmed a significant positive correlation between social media addiction and college students' mental health problems, and social media addiction can positively predict mental health problems. Based on this hypothesis, 1 is proposed. 2. Social media addiction reduces college students' level of social support, and the decline in social support exacerbates mental health problems. Based on this, the mediation hypothesis 2 of social support is proposed. 3. Social media addiction lowers college students' level of resilience, and the decrease in resilience aggravates mental health problems. Based on this, the mediation hypothesis 3 of resilience is proposed. Social media addiction reduces the level of social support, which in turn further lowers the level of resilience and ultimately exacerbates mental health problems. Based on this, the chain mediation hypothesis 4 of 2 variables is proposed. 5. Female college students are more vulnerable to the adverse effects of social media addiction, and social media addiction has a stronger predictive effect on their mental health problems. Based on this, the moderation hypothesis 5 of gender on the path from social media addiction to mental health problems is proposed. 6. Female college students have a stronger perception of social support, and social support exerts a more significant buffering effect on their mental health problems. Based on this, the moderation hypothesis 6 of gender on the path from social support to mental health problems is proposed. 7. Existing studies indicate that the protection effect of resilience may be more prominent among male college students. Based on this, the moderation hypothesis 7 of gender on the path from resilience to mental health problems is proposed. Part 3. Theory. 1. Stress buffering theory, proposed by Cohen and Wills in 1985. Its core proposition is that social support, as an important external resource, can buffer the adverse effect of stressors on an individual's mental health, with its mechanism of action manifested in the main effect and buffering effect. 2. Resilience theory, proposed by Marston in 2001. Resilience is a dynamic regulatory mechanism for individuals when confronted with stress, adversity, and negative emotions, rather than a fixed personality trait. Individuals can achieve proposition adaptation to adversity and psychological recovery by mobilizing their internal and external resources. 3. Conservation of resources theory, proposed by Hopeful in 1989. This theory acts as a supplementary theory and provides a logical explanation for the chain mediating effect of social support and resilience. It points out that individuals have an innate drive to retain, protect, and build their own resources. When these resources are threatened, depleted, or lost, individuals will experience psychological stress, which in turn triggers a series of negative psychological and behavioral responses. That's all my part. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Xu Kexin. Today I'm going to present part 2 of my research, the conceptual fieldwork. First, let's look at the theoretical background. My research is based on 2 main theories. The first is the stress buffering theory. This theory says that when we face stress, having social support, like help from friends or family, can reduce the negative impact on our mental health. In the context of social media addiction, support can help us feeling of loneliness and anxiety. The second theory is resilience theory. Resilience theory is our ability to bounce back from hard times. It helps us regulate negative emotion and deal with stress caused by too much social media use. Now let me introduce the research model. The independent variable is social media education, or SMA. The dependent variable is the mental health issue, or MHI. We also have two mediators, social support and resilience. The work in a sequence. First social support, then resilience. This is called a child mental mediation model, and we also have a moderator Gender changes the strength of some relationships, like the link between SMA and mental health. So next, let me quickly define the key variable. Social media addiction means being overly dependent on social media. You may spend too much time on it, feel anxious when you can't use it, and it starts to affect your daily life. Social support is help and care you get from people around you, like family and friends. Resilience is your inner strength or a strength to recover from stress. Mental health issues include symptoms like depression, anxiety, and stress. And gender is simply whether you are male or female, and it influence how these factors work together. Next, based on the model, I have three hypotheses. The first four are about direct and mediating effect. H1 says the social media addiction is positively related to mental health issue, means more addiction lead to more problem. H2 says that social support mediates this relationship. H3 says the resilience also mediate it, and H4 says that social support and resilience work together as a child mediator, first support, then resilience. The next three hypotheses are about gender. H5 says that gender changes the relationship between SMA and mental health. H6 says that gender changes the link between social support and mental health. And H7 says that gender changes the link between resilience and mental health, but according to some studies, H7 might not be supported. It means resilience may work similarly for both male and female. So how does the transmediation work? Based on the conservation or of resource theory, when people are addicted to social media, they start to lose real life social support. This loss of external support then weakened their inner strength, resilience. And when resilience is low, mental health problems get worse. So the PANTS is addiction leaders to less support, which leaders is less resilience, which leader is to more mental health issue. Now about gender, according to gender rules, expectations vary. Female are more focused on relationship and emotions. They often use social media to connect with others. So when there are addicted, it may hurt them mental health more. Male, on the other hand, are more focused on goals and achievement. Studies shows the gender does change the link between SMA and mental health, and between social support and mental health with stranger if ranked for females, but gender does not seem to change the link between resilience and mental health. I'm always thank you.
Hello everyone, so next part is part 3, research design. Today I'm going to walk you through the key part of our study, research design. Our study aims to find out how social media addiction affects college student mental health. So first is date college methods. So let's start with how we calculate our date. So for this study, we use both second-hand and first-hand date. We use second-hand data mainly to build our studies theory, complete our lecture review, and pick well-tested survey skills. This makes sure our study has a solid theoretical foundation. Our second-hand data comes from trusted academic paper, books, and research report. First-hand data is the core of our study. We calculate it using a structured online survey. We choose an online survey for several clear reasons. It is low cost and can reach a wide range of people, and effectively avoid the interview base. It also lets respondents fill it out whether they have free time, so which help us get more response and better data quality. All of this ensure our data is reliable. So next is sampling method. Now let's talk about our sampling design. Our target group is full-time college students aged 18 to 30 who use social media regularly. To get our sampling efficiently and scientifically, we use a non-probability sampling method that combines convenience sampling and quota sampling. Convenience sampling helps us reach our target group quickly online. Quota sampling lets us set predefined quota for factors like gender and education level. This makes sure our sample is representative and especially keep a balanced gender ratio. That's very important for our later analysis, where we look at gender as a moderating variable. So in the end, we plan to collect at least 350 valid questionnaires. A sample size not only meets the base requirements for moderation effort to analyze, but it also gives us enough power for more complex analysis later on. The third is questionnaire design. Finally, let's go over how we design our questionnaire. And here you can see the independent variable, dependent variable, mediating variable, and moderating variable in our study. Our survey has two main parts, demographic information and the scales to measure our core variable. The scales we used include the BSMAS scale to measure social media addiction, the DASS21 scale to measure mental health issues, the MSPSS scale to measure social support, and the CDRASC-10 scales to measure psychological resilience. So all of these scales has good reliability and validity. All of these scales have good reliability and validity, so we can be sure our measurements are accurate.
Good day to Dr. Mariam and all our fellow classmates. My name is Yong Jin Wen and I'll be presenting on the data analysis methods for our research proposal on the impact of social media addiction on college students' mental health, the mediating role of social support and resilience, and the moderating role of gender. So for this session, we will walk through on how we plan to analyze the data collected from our questionnaire to test our 7 hypotheses. So, this data collected will be analyzed using quantitative statistical techniques and will be using 2 main software tools, which are the SPSS version 28 and Process Macro for SPSS version 4.2. So why Process Macro? Because our study uses a moderated mediation framework, which means we are not just looking into simple relationships, but we are examining on how social media addiction affects mental health through social support and resilience, and for whom those relationships are stronger or weaker based on gender. So our analysis will proceed in 3 distinct stages, which are Stage 1 on data preparation and preliminary analysis, Stage 2 will be on bivariate analysis, Pearson correlation, and the 3rd stage will be on hypothesis testing, mediation and moderation analysis. Okay, so Okay, we will proceed to Stage 1. Stage 1 on data preparation and preliminary analysis. First, there are 4 components inside this stage. So it will be the data cleaning and screening. For the first one, which is on screening out data, making sure that the data is clean and reliable. We will screen for errors in data entry, missing values, which mean the questionnaires with more than 10% of incomplete data, that will be excluded from the final analysis. And then the outliers, which are the extreme values that could skew our results. So for remaining missing data that's completely random, we will actually consider mean substitution as a measure. So for the second component will be on descriptive statistics. So we will calculate frequencies and percentages for categorical variables like gender, year of study, social media usage hours. And the other one will be the means and standard deviation. That will be for the continuous variables like social media addiction scores, mental health scores, social support scores, and resilience scores. This will give us a profile of our sample and allows for comparison with previous studies. And so the next one will be on the reliability assessment and assumption testing. So for the reliability assessment, we must ensure that our measurement scales are internally consistent. We didn't want our scores, our measurement to be on one extreme end and the other extreme end. We want the scores to be consistent, internally consistent. So we will use the Cronbach alpha with a threshold of 0.7 or higher, which means that is considered acceptable following standard practice in psychological research by one of the study as well, by Tsai in 2026. So there are other scales that have demonstrated strong reliability in previous studies, such as the BS-MAS scales, DASS 21 scale, MSPSS, CD risk So these are some of these skills that have demonstrated strong reliability, and we can use them in our data analysis. Okay, so before running inferential statistic, we test 4 key assumptions. So one will be the normality, the skewness and kurtosis values between -2 and +2, linearity examined through the scatter plots, homoscedasticity, equal variances assessed through using Levin's test, and multicollinearity, VIF values less than 5. Only when these assumptions are met, we can proceed confidently with our analysis. Okay, so now we will go to stage 2, which is the bivariate analysis Pearson correlation. So this stage serves 2 purposes. It is to provide the initial test for H1, hypothesis 1, and establish a foundational relationships needed for mediation testing. So we will examine the correlation between social media addiction and mental health issues, which is testing hypothesis 1 directly. And then we'll also examine the correlations between social media addiction and social support, social media addiction and resilience, social support and mental health issues, and resilience and mental health issues. So for hypothesis 1, social media addiction is significantly positively associated with mental health issues among college students. That's H1, hypothesis 1. Hypothesis 2 will be the social support mediates the relationship between social media addiction and mental health issues. Hypothesis 3 will be the resilience mediates the relationship between social media addiction and mental health issues. Hypothesis 4 will be the social support and resilience play a chain mediating role in the relationship between social media addiction and mental health issues. Hypothesis 5 on gender moderates the relationship between social media addiction and mental health issues, with the effect being stronger for female students. And then hypothesis 6 on gender moderates the relationship between social support and mental health issues, with the buffering effect being stronger for female students. And H7, hypothesis 7, gender moderates the relationship between resilience and mental health issues, with the protective effect being stronger for male students. Okay, now this is the most exciting part in data analysis, hypothesis testing in stage 3. So stage 3 is the core of our analysis, the hypothesis testing for mediation and moderation. So we will use regression analysis through process macro, and this approach has been successfully employed in recent studies examining social media addiction and mental health, and internet use and mental health through social support and family resilience, and several other studies. So to test mediation effects, which is the hypothesis 2, 3, and 4, let me explain how we test our mediation hypothesis. To test H2, H3, and H4, we will use process model 6, the serial multiple mediation. So for this model specification, the independent variable, which is the social media addiction, and then the mediator, which is the social support, mediator 2 will be the resilience, and the dependent variable, which is the mental health issues. So these indirect effects will be calculated. So on how social media addiction is affected by this social support, and that causes mental health, to test H2, and then how social media addiction is affected by resilience, that affects mental health, to test H3, and then the chain, the social media addiction, how social support and resilience is affecting mental health, to test H4, hypothesis 4. So yeah, we will also use bootstraps with 5,000 resamples to generate a 95% bias corrected confidence intervals. If the confidence intervals exclude 0, the mediation effect is significant at p less than 0.05. Okay, so for the expected mediation findings, hypothesis 2 is supported from the data. Social support partially mediates relationship, and then H3 is supported as well, with resilience partially mediates the relationship, and H4 is also supported. Social support and resilience act as a chain mediators. So these findings were further supported by a few other studies, like the mediation effects between depression, anxiety, and problematic smartphone use, and then mediation role of resilience between support, social support and mental health, chain mediation of social support and resilience in internet addiction. So these findings are supported by several other studies as well. Okay, so finally, after testing the mediation effects, we will now test on moderation effects. So for the moderation hypothesis, we will use a process model 1, simple moderation. Gender we coded as 0 for male and 1 for female. So for hypothesis 5, so the gender moderates social media addiction on mental health. The predictor being the social media addiction, moderator, which is the gender, and then the outcome will be the mental health issues. And then for hypothesis 6, gender moderates social support in mental health, and then the predictor acts as the social support. Moderator will be the gender, the outcome will be the mental health issues. And for hypothesis 7, gender moderates resilience in mental health. So predictor being the resilience, and then the moderator, which is the gender, the outcome will be the mental health issues. So a significant interaction term, P is less than 0.05, indicates moderation. So we will then use simple slopes analysis to examine the relationship separately for males and females. So expected moderation findings based on Chai study expect to find hypothesis 5 supported by gender amplifies the detrimental effect of social media addiction on mental health issues, which is stronger effect for females. And then the hypothesis 6, significant negative moderating effect of gender on the relationship between social media, social support and mental health, which is the buffering effect stronger for females. And then H7, exploratory, gender did not moderate relationships between resilience and mental health in Chai study. We will test this if this finding replicates or if resilience is stronger for males as proposed. So for this summary of statistical finding, in conclusion, this 3 stages analytical approach ensures rigorous testing of all 7 hypotheses. Stage 1, the purpose of it is to ensure our data is clean, reliable, and meets statistical assumptions. And then stage 2, to establish foundational correlations. And then stage 3, to comprehensively test our mediation and moderation hypothesis using state-of-the-art process macro analysis. So this methodology allows us to move beyond simple correlations to understand not just whether social media addiction affects mental health, but how through social support and resilience, and for whom depending on the gender. Thank you so much for your attention. I'm happy to take any questions if that's available. Thank you.